I was looking for a charger. That's the lie I tell myself when I replay that moment. A small, harmless reason for picking up my son's phone from the kitchen counter. The screen lit up before I even touched it. A vibration. Then another. His name was still at the top of the lock screen. But the preview underneath it made my stomach tighten. Don't use his name here. He checks everything. My name. I stood there longer than I should have. The house breathing around me. The hum of the refrigerator. My wife laughing upstairs with the kids. I told myself to put the phone down. I didn't. The face unlock worked instantly. Too instantly. As if the device already knew I had the right to be there. The message thread was open. Pinned. Hidden in plain sight. My brother's name was saved under a fake contact. A joke, I realized later. They thought it was funny. They didn't talk like lovers who were afraid. They talked like conspirators who had already won. He still believes it, my wife had written. He's predictable. Another message. From my brother. Your son almost slipped today. You need to be more careful. Then the one that made my hands go cold. Relax, she replied. The kids know what to say. We've practiced. Practiced. I locked the phone and placed it back exactly where it had been. Same angle. Same distance from the edge. Upstairs, my daughter called my name. Her voice was light. Normal. I answered her the same way I always did. Calm. Present. Dinner passed without incident. My wife met my eyes across the table and smiled. The smile she'd practiced for years. The one I'd mistaken for love. My brother texted me later that night. Drinks this weekend? I stared at the message for a long time before typing back. Of course. That night, lying beside my wife, I listened to her breathing. I counted the seconds between each inhale. I realized something terrifyingly simple. This hadn't just happened to me. It had happened around me. For years. The betrayal wasn't the affair. It was the architecture. The way my children avoided my eyes when certain topics came up. The way my brother always arrived early, left late. The way my name had become a punchline in rooms I wasn't allowed to enter. I didn't cry. I didn't shake. I planned. I started noticing what they thought I'd never see. Passwords reused. Schedules synced too perfectly. Conversations that stopped the moment I entered a room. They believed I was slow, safe, manageable. That was their biggest mistake. Because once you realize your entire life is a performance, you stop reacting. You start directing. And I wasn't going to confront anyone. Not yet. I didn't rush. People think revenge is loud. Messy. It isn't. Real revenge is quiet enough that the betrayer doesn't realize it's happening until they're already inside it. I became observant. Not suspicious, observant. I watched my wife type messages with her phone tilted away from me. I noticed how my son flinched when my brother's name was mentioned, then overcorrected with forced laughter. How my daughter answered questions she hadn't been asked yet. They weren't bad children. They were coached. I pulled phone records. Cloud backups. Shared locations they'd forgotten to turn off. Late-night drives that aligned too perfectly. Hotel receipts buried under grocery transactions. Voice notes deleted, but not erased. The most painful discovery wasn't the affair. It was the coordination. Messages between my wife and my brother discussing me like a liability. He won't notice. He trusts you. He trusts us. And the children. If he asks, say he was asleep. Say uncle helped with homework. Say mom was tired. They'd turned my home into a rehearsal space. So I gave them a final performance. I invited my brother over. Just him. No warning. I asked my wife to sit with us. The kids stayed upstairs. I wanted them far away from what was coming. I placed my son's phone on the table. Unlocked. Open to the thread. No shouting. No accusations. Just silence. My brother's face collapsed first. Not guilt, fear. The kind that comes from realizing the story you've been telling yourself is over. My wife reached for words. I raised a hand. Don't, I said. One word. Enough. I slid printed screenshots across the table. Dates. Locations. Messages where my name appeared more than theirs. She started crying. He started explaining. I stayed still. I know how long, I said calmly. I know who knew. I know why you thought I'd never leave. That last part broke her. Because she was right. The man she betrayed would have stayed. But that man was already gone. I stood up, adjusted my jacket, and looked at them, not with anger, but assessment. You didn't just cheat, I said. You reorganized my life without my consent. I left the house that night. Not dramatically, not slamming doors. I took copies of everything, left the originals behind. The divorce was efficient. The truth traveled faster than they expected. Families have a way of choosing sides when silence is no longer an option. My brother lost more than me. My wife lost the version of herself that believed control meant safety. As for my children, one day they'll understand the difference between being protected and being recruited. I don't hate them. I don't love them the same either. Some betrayals don't end relationships. They end identities. And the man they laughed about in those messages, he never came back. Only someone quieter, sharper, untouchable.